All right. Welcome to 30 Days Through the Bible. We are going through the Bible this month of June. We're going through the entire Bible. And of course, I'm not going to read the entire Bible on this channel because that would be almost impossible to do live. But instead, what I want to do is I want to help you, the person that is at home, and you're like, I want to be able to get through the Bible just a little bit faster. 1 year is not good enough for me. If this is you, then you've come to the right place, because my goal is to get you through the entire Bible in 30 days. And consider these short little videos, I don't know how long we'll go, maybe a half an hour or so, as a primer to pump you up and to help you, to keep you motivated to getting through the entire Bible. And it's going to be a lot of work. I'm not going to sugarcoat this and tell you that in 5 minutes a day you can get through the entire Bible in 30 days, because mathematically that's impossible. Instead, I'm going to share with you tips and strategies I use every single day to get through the Bible. And in this case, I'm going to narrow it down to help you get through the Bible in 30 days. That's my goal. So if you're interested in this kind of thing, if you don't have time to watch this video right now, you can always come back. This video will be uploaded. It'll continue to be on my channel even afterwards. Just search in one of the playlists under entire reading plans. What I'm also going to do as well is share my email address, which is shane@blackswanrevelations.com. The idea behind that is to give you my reading schedule as well for how I get through the 30 days. So let's just jump into this, because again, my job is not to try and convince you, to win you over, because you're going to get the haters. You're going to get the people that's like, slow down. Just read one verse a day and that's good. That should be good for you. Why are you trying to read it so fast, bro? That's what I get. And I've been getting this in emails, in comments, all this kind of stuff. Like, you're saying reading it 100 times is better. Yes, it's actually better. Yes, than not reading it at all. All right. So what I have here is I have the Everyday Bible. So this here is a King James Version. This gets you through the entire Bible in 1 year. It's 365 days. It's all mapped out. If you like this kind of thing, I would highly recommend it. My wife gave it to me as a gift. Not that I need another King James Bible, but I will always take another King James Bible. So how this is laid out, and I timed it, basically 10 to 15 minutes every day. That's 10 to 15. 10 minutes to 15 minutes, 15, every day, 7 days a week, will get you through the entire Bible in 1 year. So it starts off January 1st. And basically, you're looking at 4 pages to get you through the entire Bible. 4 pages. So wheels should start turning in your head. If you were to read the entire Bible, go through it 15 minutes a day, that'll get you through the entire Bible. You have to ask yourself the question, what happens if I doubled that? So instead of 15 minutes a day or 4 pages a day, what if I read 8 pages. That's 30 minutes. How long do you think it would take you to get through the Bible? If you guessed 6 months, you are right. Imagine reading the Bible twice in a year. It's actually not that out of the question. So what we're talking about is reading for longer periods of time. We're not talking about speed reading. There's methods to increase your the way that you actually read the Bible and get through it faster without all these distractions. But we're just talking simple stuff. 30 minutes will get you through the entire Bible twice. So what we're talking about is getting through the entire Bible in 30 days. And what I recommend is spending 2 hours, and time yourself with a watch, with a clock, with your iPhone. Just time yourself for 2 hours. Once you hit 2 hours, you're done for the day. What you're going to find is there will be some days where you'll be like, you know what? I got a little bit more than 2 hours in me. I might read for 3 hours, or I might read for 4 hours. That's cool. You don't have to keep track of your time past 2 hours. That's bonus. That's a bonus scenario. So the first thing you need to do is you need to be able to time yourself for 2 hours. And again, it doesn't matter how fast or slow. What we're doing is we're setting aside 2 hours in our day in a 24-hour period for the Lord to read the Bible. We're not talking about quantity yet. We haven't got there. If you start thinking about how many pages or how many chapters you have to read, that is going to do you in. I promise you, it's going to discourage you. But if you could set aside a time block, as in, I'm just going to spend 2 hours today reading the Bible. It could be in the morning, it could be in the afternoon, it could be in the evening, or you could spread it out. You could get your devotion out of the way in the morning, and then in the afternoon, you can spend another half an hour, and then in the evening, you got 1 hour. That's it. So just divide it up, but keep a timer so you can have an idea of how long you're actually spending in the Word. Because here's the truth. If you spend less than an hour, you will have to increase your speed reading skills. And I don't think it's necessary to do that. I don't think you have to do that in order to get through the entire Bible. Instead, spend more time. So 2 hours a day will get you through the entire Bible. And I just think about it. 4 pages a day out of the Bible will get you through the entire Bible in 1 year. So if you quadrupled it, imagine how much faster you're going to get through the Bible. All right. The next thing you need to do is you should have a little journal. This is a journal I just purchased over the weekend. And so started June 1st, yesterday. I don't know if you could see this. I'll read it to you. You can see that? So what that says is, I'm reading the book of Acts. That's where I started yesterday from 7 o'clock till 8 o'clock in the morning. So basically 50 minutes. I started at 7:11 till 8 o'clock in the morning. And I got through I think it was about 10 chapters or so of the book of Acts. And I was using my Fire tablet at 350 words per minute. This morning, I was up from 4 o'clock. I read the book of Acts. I was actually up to chapter 18. So I started on chapter 18 this morning at 4:22 a.m. till 5:10. So that's basically 50 minutes. And I was done the entire book of Acts from chapter 13 to the end of Acts. Then I also read the book of Romans from 5:20 to 6:10. So that took me 50 minutes. So basically, that is almost 2 hours. So I knocked off Acts, basically half the book of Acts, and the entire book of Romans this morning. So that's really since yesterday. So you could basically think of it as Acts yesterday, Romans today. And I'm into Corinthians right now, first couple of chapters of Corinthians. That's how easy it could be. Just simply sitting down and then just reading. What the everyday Bible does, and I'm not a big fan of it. If you want to get through in 1 year, that's fine. But if you're trying to plow through, reading Old Testament, New Testament, and Proverbs is too much. It's too much for you. You'll have a tough time remembering what you read. It's too complicated to switch gears. So instead, what I suggest is whatever book you start, you finish that book. So for example, I started Acts yesterday, and before I can jump to Romans, I got to finish Acts. So I finished Acts this morning, took a 5-10 minute break, made some coffee, and then jumped into Romans. And then I just sat down and read the entire book of Romans. If you do this, time chunk 2 hours out of your day and finish the book that you started before you start the next book, you will automatically get through the Bible in 30 days. Automatically. And if you feel a bit of an urge, like that went really fast, 2 hours, and nobody's home, I have an afternoon to myself instead of watching golf or hockey or baseball or football or whatever, instead of watching that for 3 hours, I'm going to spend an extra hour. If you do an extra hour on the weekend, I promise you will be done the Bible faster than 30 days. You'll be shocked, because that's what happens is maybe there'll be some days where you'll be slugging through and you'll be like, you know what? I only got 30 minutes in me today because life is busy today or whatever. That's okay. Don't add that time to the next day. Don't say tomorrow I'm going to do it for 2 hours and 30 minutes, because that will derail you. I'm asking you to commit 2 hours a day. That's it. 120 minutes a day. So it could be 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes at lunchtime, another hour in the afternoon or the evening. 2-hour chunks of time will get you through the entire Bible. The other thing that I would suggest is get a decent sized print. Like this is considered giant print right here. Giant print. And notice that there is no commentary. So I suggest for this 30-day burst, ditch the commentary, because you're going to go down bunny trails as you're trying to plow through the Bible. You're going to come across something. You're like, oh, that's interesting. I never seen this before. And then you start flipping through in your concordance and all this, and you're not going to get done because you're eating up your reading time. If you want to do that outside of your 2-hour window, that's fine. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to help you conserve your energy for 30 days. And I would suggest do not read another book during this time frame, because again, you're going to take the energy from that other book and divide it up with the Bible. Just for 30 days. Don't read anything else for 30 days. This also will help you. So you set aside a 2-hour block of time throughout your day. Keep it on your little iPhone. I wish I had my iPhone down here. You just start the timer the second you sit down to read. And your goal is to just read for 2 hours. But if you only read for 15 minutes, stop the timer. Go do whatever it is you had to do. Come back. And when you go to read again, start your timer again. And then pretty soon you'll be at 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour. And before you know it, you'll get your 2 hours. But I want you to keep track of that 2 hours in the Bible. And this will make more sense a few days in. You'll be like, oh man, I'm glad I spent a couple of hours, because it feels like I'm actually starting to get ahead. If you do less than 2 hours, especially at the beginning, you're going to start running behind and you're going to be like, oh man, this is daunting. But don't worry about going beyond 2 hours. Just stick with that 2-hour formula. And then every once in a while, you're going to get extra energy. It's weird. I've had it happen where I would plan something for a Saturday morning, either to go out for coffee with a friend or something, and then it would fall through. And I'm like, oh, I have an extra 2 hours. I was going to go hang out with a buddy. We're going to go play squash or do something or go for a hike. And instead, I'm just going to read. So I grab the timer, start the timer, and away you go. And before you know it, you're going to be through the Bible in 30 days. Another strategy that I use, and this is what I'm using right now, this is my Amazon Fire tablet. I love this thing, especially when it comes to going through the Bible faster. And when I say faster, I mean without any distractions. So this is what I use. I'll show this to you, and I've showed this to people before. So let me just show you something here. Let me get rid of this here. Okay. So this is the Holy Bible, King James Version, and I am on Corinthians chapter 4. So I'm just going to show you this here. Hi there, Zoe from Colorado. Can you see this? There it is. So this is the King James Bible, chapter 4, 1 Corinthians chapter 4. And what I use, let me turn down my light here. Maybe this is, let me turn this down just a little bit. Can you see this a little bit better? There it is. Can you see that? So the idea behind using a app like this, I'm in the Kindle store, is basically what you could do is you could use a piece of software that's built in. Let me see. Let me kill this light here. It's going to be dark here for a sec, but I want you to be able to see this. Can you see that? See where it says Word Runner? That's the tool that we want, Word Runner. So basically you hit that, and then now you can adjust your words per minute on the bottom. And right now I have it set to 300 words per minute. The average person reads about 200 to 250 words per minute, depending on how familiar you are with a book. With this, so I'm just going to hit play and I'm going to show you how it works. Let's see if you can see this here. There you go. So there's the words right there. So it's just playing through and it's just words. So all you do is you just sit back, you relax, and you just read. You just read what it says. You don't read it out loud. You just read it in your head. And this, again, this is at 300 words per minute. I guess I gave myself the thumbs down accidentally. So if you do this, you can actually, again, depending how familiar you are with the Bible, if you are in Chronicles, you might find that your reading comprehension will actually slow down a little bit because there's a lot of names and stuff. You might actually go down to like 250. But when you get to things like Acts, Romans, Psalms, Proverbs, you might actually get up to 400 or 500 words per minute because you are more familiar with the content. And that's part of the secret as well. If you're used to reading Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, you're going to go through those books a lot faster than if you've never been in Leviticus, if you've never been in Isaiah. That's just a fact. So be cognizant of the idea that you're going to be going faster through books that you're familiar with and slower with books that you're not familiar with. All right. So for example, this is at 300 words per minute. I'll just read it just to give you an idea of how fast or slow that is. I teach everywhere in every church. Some are puffed up as though I would not come to you. But I will come to you shortly if the Lord will, not the speech of them that puffed up, but the power. For the kingdom of God is not in word, but in power. What will ye, that I come with you with a rod, or in love, that the spirit of meekness? So that's a little bit fast to read out loud. But in your head, you can read this. You can almost read twice as fast in your head than you can out loud. So this is the tool that I use predominantly during my 30-day burst of getting through the entire Bible. I will use this almost exclusively. That helps me get through it faster. Also, what you can do is you can use the audio app from Amazon as well, and you can get a free version of the King James Bible in its entirety, or you could purchase the Bible. So I have the New Testament by James Earl Jones, just the New Testament. That takes you about 6 to 8 hours to listen to. So you can also do that as well. So if you want to mix things up, switch from here. Like my grandson says, headphones. He's not even 2 yet. He's almost 2. Calls headphones headphones. Put your headphones on and sit back and listen to the Bible at 1.5 speed to 2 times speed. And this alone, this one trick alone will get you through the entire Bible between 66 and 70 hours just listening. So remember, we're not just physically reading the Bible with the physical, but we're also switching from time to time to read it digitally, and we're also switching audibly as well. Sometimes you can do all three. You can listen to an audiobook of the Bible and read at the same time. I find that helpful for pacing, meaning you're listening to it, and then perhaps you got to get up to get some water, or you're making another pot of coffee. You keep going. You don't hit pause while you're listening to Psalms or whatever it is. You keep going, and then you come back and you find your place on the book in the Bible. So that's what I mean by pacing. If you use an audio Bible that way, it will help you get through the Bible faster. What I don't want you to do is count as your time going through the Bible when you're having a nap. That doesn't count. When you're asleep, it doesn't count. It helps you, like with your spiritual man, if you just want to take a break and you're like, you know what? I don't care. I'm listening to Psalms while I have a nap because I'm so tired from all the Bible reading that I'm doing. Go have a nap. I have a suggestion as the best way that you can nap. But if you're going to do that and listen to the Bible while you're sleeping, that's fine. Just know that that doesn't count as part of your reading and listening. You have to be awake, because otherwise what's going to happen, and I've tried this before. I tried listening to the Bible at night while I was asleep, and I was tossing and turning. I was listening to Moses leading people into the promised land, and then when I woke up, David is killing a giant. I didn't know where I was. I was exhausted the next day. I had to go to work, and I was so tired. This is a few years ago. And I was like, oh, man, that's tough. That's rough on the body because you're tossing and turning. And my wife can actually hear it. She said, could you just turn it down a little bit? Because I can actually hear what you're listening to. And she wanted to get to sleep. So do yourself a favor. Don't count that as your time when you're listening during your nap time. If you want to take a nap, like let's just say you're reading and you're about 30 minutes or so in, and you're like, oh man, I'm really struggling in Leviticus. I'm tired. Find a nice little place in your living room or in your basement or wherever. Lie down on your back and put your feet up on the couch. I'm telling you, or the coffee table. I'm telling you, this is gold right here. This is gold. Close your eyes. You don't need to set a timer or anything. you'll get the deepest sleep that you've ever had, and you'll wake up after 10 or 15 minutes, sometimes 20 minutes, but you'll be fresh as a daisy. I'm telling you, it works. There's something weird. I've been doing it for 30 plus years. If I get so tired, I just have a 10, 15-minute nap on the floor in the living room, and I'm good to go. And there'll be times where I'll lie down on my back and I'll put my feet up and I'll tell my wife, "Oh, I'm so exhausted. I'm so tired. I just need a little nap." I'll close my eyes and then I'll wake up and I'll bounce right up. And she's like, "There's no way you had a nap. You're literally just lying there for 5 minutes. There's no way." And I was out cold. And then 5 minutes later, I was up. If you're going to have a nap, do not go to your bedroom under a nice, cozy blanket during the day. Do not do that. You're going to wake up feeling like somebody just smashed you over the head with a hammer. It's weird, but your sleep patterns get all messed up and you feel sick when you wake up. So don't do it. Don't sleep like an hour, 2 hours. I've heard of people that have naps for like an hour, 2 hours in the afternoon. Don't do it, because what happens is you can't sleep at night. And I don't want to interrupt your sleep. I want you to hit that rapid eye movement. I want you to be able to have a good rest so that when you get up, like at 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, you could start plowing through the Bible. So hopefully this makes sense. We've gone about a half an hour. So I shared the idea of blocking out some time, block out a 2-hour piece of time. 30 minutes won't cut it. An hour won't cut it unless you're a speed reader. And that's not, we're not talking about that. We're talking about setting 2 hours aside and then use a timer to keep track of your reading times. Because there will be times where you're going to read for 15 minutes and go, "Oh, I got something else to do. I forgot. I have no cream." So you take off to the store and you come back. Stop your timer. Go to the store, get your cream, come back, and then when you sit down to read again, start your timer again. Do that during the day to keep track of how long you're reading. Once you get to that 2-hour mark, you're golden. You're good. So if you read an hour in the morning, an hour at lunchtime, you're good for the day. You don't have to read anymore. Because again, what's going to happen is you're going to get your palate, you're going to get your appetite for his word, and it'll sneak up on you. And all of a sudden you're like, "You know what? I could read for a little bit more than 2 hours today. It's kind of weird, but I feel like reading." And I've done that. There was one time where I read from 8 o'clock or 6 o'clock in the morning to like 8 o'clock at night. And I was like, "Oh, this is weird. I just feel like there's energy and I feel like I just want to read." I can't remember what it was I was reading, if it was like Genesis or Exodus. I find those books really easy to just sit and read. I could sit down in one sitting, spend 3 or 4 hours and be done Genesis. But it takes a little bit of time to get used to the content. And if you've never been through the entire Bible, that's okay. It's okay, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to get your brain muscles used to the idea of sitting for 2 hours. That's why I want you to time yourself. Because we have no problem sitting and watching a football game for 3 hours, eating Cheetos. We have no problem watching Tiger Woods in a round of golf, 18 holes over a weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Like, we have no problem watching these guys live their life, but suddenly when it's time to sit down and read the Bible, it's like, well, I think I got 15 minutes, 1-5. I think I got 15 minutes for you, Lord, the Lord of the universe, the creator of the universe, the God that actually saved my life on a cross. I got 15 minutes for you. You know how weird that sounds? Jesus Christ died before, while we were yet sinners, died before we knew him. and we only give him 15 minutes a day. Uh-oh, starting to convict some people now. So, all I'm saying is, you have 2 hours. I watched the movie Maverick yesterday. Again, I can't tell you how many times I've seen it. It went by like this. I think it was like 2 or 3 hours long. It went by like this. We can do it for movies. You just gotta change the muscles that you use in your brain to be comfortable enough to sit down and read. And I would suggest to you that you read somewhere like a at a coffee table, somewhere where you can sit in your nice little office chair, your desk, or at the kitchen table. That's where probably 90% of the time I read at the kitchen table. Why? Because I keep the coffee coming. Keep the coffee coming. That helps. Do not read lying on your back. That does not work. Instead, you're going to get bruises on your nose because you're going to keep dropping the Bible. Don't do that. If you have to stand up to read. Again, what we're trying to do is we're trying to condition your body to the idea of being able to sit for an hour or 2 hours at a time. And it takes a little bit because you start getting antsy and all this, and you're like, man, I feel like I got to do something else or whatever. Just bathe it in. Just sit back, just soak in the word, take your time, read it, time yourself for 2 hours, and then you're done. And you'll get to the point where you don't need the timer anymore because it works out about the same way. You might read for a little bit in the morning. Like I blocked out time from basically 6 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock in the morning, sometimes 9, depending, 7 days a week. That's my 2-hour window. Then what happens is you're kind of curious because you're like, man, I had 5 chapters left in Genesis. I'm going to finish the book of Genesis in the afternoon. I spent my 2 hours reading, but I want to finish the book. And if you just do these 2 things, 2-hour block of time, when you get close to the end of the book, finish it. So you might be like 5 or 10 chapters away, finish it, unless it's like Isaiah or Ezekiel, because those chapters are a little bit longer. But in Psalms, again, once you're through that halfway point in Psalms, it goes by like this. It just goes by so fast. Same thing with Proverbs. Once you get halfway through Proverbs, you're like, oh man, I can finish this in like a half an hour now. And then you're done. Use that mentality every time you are in the middle of a book. Once you get close to the end of it, even if you're past the 2-hour marker, finish the book. And then you can even read one page into the next book. Like if you just finished Genesis, instead of saying, oh, I'm good for the day, don't say that. Instead, go into Exodus, read the first chapter, and then put it aside and be like, I can't wait to get into Exodus tomorrow. I'm so excited. In fact, I might even do it tonight. That's fine. You can do that. You might have to cheat a little bit. As in, if you're outside your window of 2 hours and you're still reading, that's okay. That is perfectly acceptable. You're going to find what will happen is you'll be thinking about something else. Maybe you're cutting the grass, you're doing some yard work, and you're like, oh man, I was just getting to the juicy part in Corinthians. Once you're done cutting the grass, you go back inside. Even though you spent 2 hours already, you might find yourself back in the Word again reading. But don't use that extra time. So if you're read for 2 hours and you find yourself you're reading a third hour, don't bank that time for the next day and say, I'm only going to read for an hour tomorrow because I read for 3 today. Don't do that stuff. 2 hours is your magical window. And once you're past that, you're golden. Less than that, it just could mean because you're tired and you're fatigued. Maybe you worked overtime the night before, or maybe you watched one of my videos late into the night and you can only go for like an hour reading the Bible, that's okay. That time is lost the next day, meaning don't add it to the next day. Don't say, today I'm going to read for 3 hours. No, just keep it to your 2-hour window. Once you're done your 2 hours, you're free as a bird. You can do whatever you want. So hopefully this makes sense. If there's something I've missed, we're going to do a little bit. I might make my videos a little bit shorter, but we're going to do this every day. And I'm going to try and help you, coach you, motivate you to get you through the entire Bible in 30 days if you want to take the challenge. If you're just starting today, you're a little bit behind, but you're not crazy behind, because yesterday I started with the book of Acts and I'm in Corinthians. So I started I finished reading the entire Bible this year. So now I'm starting again. And I always start in the book of Acts. I go all the way to Revelation. So if you see me doing a video and I tell you where I'm at, that'll either tell you if you're on pace or if you're falling a little bit behind, because I'll be your pace car. So right now I am in Corinthians and I've done my 2 hours this morning, but there might be a pocket of time where I might read a little bit more tonight, this afternoon or tonight. And then tomorrow morning, I have my 2-hour slot. So wherever I end up, if I end up halfway through Corinthians by tomorrow morning, that's where I start. I start the timer and I go for 2 hours. So when I make a video tomorrow, I don't know how far I'll be. I could be halfway through 1 Corinthians, or I could be on the first, maybe chapter 10 Corinthians. Don't know. So what I'm going to do is each day I will let you know where I'm at so that you can kind of pace yourself and you can go, oh man, I need to read enough to catch up to where Shane is, especially if you're behind. If you're just finding this video, maybe you're a couple of days out and you're like, oh, I found day 2 or I'm on day 3 or day 4 and this is where Shane's at. You now know what you have to read, because again, I'm starting in the book of Acts. So I go all the way to Revelation. And then when I'm done, I go to Genesis and I go all the way to Job. So we'll keep it real simple. Acts to Revelation. Once you're done the book of Revelation, jump over to Genesis and go all the way to Job. So that'll basically take us our first couple of weeks. And then after that, we're going to get into Isaiah and all that kind of stuff. But we'll get to that. The very last thing that we do at the end, it'd probably be like day 27, day 28, maybe even day 29. We're going to finish our entire Bible in Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, and Song of Songs. That's how we'll wrap it up. So if you see me in that, if you see me in the book of Psalms, you'll know that we are at the end of the race, just to give you a bit of a gauge. So hopefully this helps you guys. So your mission this week is to get to the end of the New Testament, basically from Acts. We're not touching the Gospels yet. We're starting in Acts and we're going to the end of Revelation. And realistically, by Thursday, you should be done all that stuff. We should be diving into Genesis over the weekend. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus. Yeah, we'll be probably by Monday. We'll probably be in Leviticus. So anyways, just to kind of give you a bit of a gauge. But yeah, 2 hours a day will get you through the entire Bible in 30 days. If you want to be a part of this journey that we're partaking of over the next 30 days, then subscribe to this channel, click like, click comment if there's a question that you have about how to read faster or anything like that, or how to get through the Bible. Hopefully over the period of 30 days, we'll help answer these questions. But this is designed to be a little bit of a motivation for you, to keep you on pace, so that when you're watching me, you'll be like, oh, he's on this book of the Bible. That's where I need to be in the next couple of days or whatever it is. You can stagger it if you want. You can start day 1 today and then go. I just find it easier to start my Bible reading on the first day of the month. So sometimes what happens is if you get done early, that's just like a bonus time. You have, like, let's say you got finished the entire Bible on Friday. Well, I would relax Saturday and Sunday by reading something else in the Bible. Maybe I would read another book, whatever it is. I'm cool to chill. And then Monday you start on your schedule for whatever it is, if you're trying to get through 30, 60, 90 days or whatever it is. So just so you know, I've been doing this basically for just over 3 years now. I'm on the 20th time of reading the entire Bible. So I know what works. I know what doesn't work. I know what slows you down. And I'm going to be giving you little bits of tips and advices as we go along over the next 30 days. So again, most of my videos will probably be a little bit shorter because I've given you most of the golden nuggets today. But if you like this kind of thing and you're like, man, I need somebody to give me a bit of a kick in the pants or to inspire me or whatever it is, then this is the channel for you. It's the same thing if you've ever ran a race, like a 10K race, you want to run with someone that's ran 10K before. Yeah, they're going to be a bit faster than you, but if you could see them ahead of you and you don't lose sight of them, you know it's reasonable that you're going to finish that 10K because this guy's done it. And you just keep him in sight. Doesn't matter how far ahead he is. You just got to keep him as your target. If you're ahead of him, you might be doing something wrong. You could be sprinting too much, and then all of a sudden you could hurt yourself. So this is a bit of a race. It's almost like a marathon in some ways. And I want you to be able to not destroy yourself by spending 6 to 8 hours a day, but 2 hours, I think, is reasonable. It's a reasonable thing to do to get you through the entire Bible. And just trust me on this. Spend 2 hours a day, and by the time we get to about the 3rd week, you're going to be like, oh man, I get it. I'm so close. I could see the light at the end of the tunnel. And it's fantastic. And then you might want to do it again over the summer. You might want to do it in July. You might want to do it again in August. My record is 3 months in a row. And I was exhausted after that. I'm telling you, I didn't read anything else. I just read the Bible 3 times in 3 months, and it was all consuming. I wasn't planning on doing it. I just did it because I was just plowing through the Bible. So that will happen. There will be times where it might take you 5 months to get through the Bible, like it did this year. I also wrote a book, so that ate up some of my Bible reading time. It slowed me down a bit, but still 5 minutes or 5 months getting through the Bible is not bad. My wife, it took her 4 months, and she had never done that before. She'd never read the entire Bible in 4 months. She beat me. And all she did was she sat down in her chair and she read for about an hour every single day, 7 days a week, sometimes a little bit more, but that got her through the entire Bible in 4 months. So it's actually pretty good. So that's enough for today. Get started. Read the book of Acts. Read the book of Romans. This is day 2. You should be on the first book of Corinthians right now. All right. This is day 2, first book of Corinthians. That's where you should be at right now if we're talking about pacing. All right. So hopefully you got something out of this. Thanks, guys. I'll see you later. We'll see you in tomorrow's video. Bye for now.